नहमदुहु व नसल्ली व नसल्लिम अला रसूलिल करीम अम्मा बाद फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम. Brothers and sisters and elders, once again we are blessed with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has given the opportunity to participate in today's mahfil and celebrate the day of the Juma. As Allama Sahib will join very soon. So before that, I would like to uh, put one of my few talks in front of you. As we discussed in the past weeks, backbiting about the backbiting punishments, and as well as what do you mean by the backbiting and all the stuff. So today, inshallah ta'ala, is a very important topic. Today we will discuss about at which places or what are the exceptions where this backbiting is allowed. Inshallah ta'ala, we will discuss in this point of view. So let's talk about, there are few places in the Sharia, there are few places in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam given the opportunity, or you can say that the few exceptions are there where even if you do the backbiting, it is not considered as a sinful act, and you will not get that sin if you do the backbiting. So what are those scenarios? What are those exceptions? Inshallah ta'ala, today we will discuss. The first thing is that, as we discussed, I just want to, in the previous weeks, that backbiting is that if you talk about your brother in a manner which he would dislike. Okay, so this is called backbiting. And if you put false allegation, that is called slander. So today, let's say talk about in which situation if you do the backbiting, which is not considered as a sin. So look into that one. The first thing is that is called intention of the betterment. So what do you mean by this? Let's discuss about this. I'll give one example to you to explain this one. Let's say, for example, if you have any intention, let's say for example you have the intention to help brothers, or maybe you have the intention to uplift his situation where he, if he's stuck in different some a few places. So if you have this kind of situation, if you're looking for the betterment, and in that situation if you do the backbiting, of specific brother in front of other people, then it is allowed. So look into this one. I'll give one situation to you. For example, assume that you are, let's say you are going, and when you meet one of your friend, and assume that you saw some sort of his shoe is tear down, or maybe his car is broken, or his clothes are not good, or maybe he has got some financial issues. Okay, then you observe this thing, and after that you started to walk further. Then assume that a group of people are sitting, maybe your friends or something. Then in front of them, if you disclose this information, what happened, I have went to so and so, I have seen the so and so brother, and why what I found is his brother, that brother is in very critical conditions. He has got some financial issues, or maybe his shoes are not good, which I have seen that. In after observing all these things in front of the other people, if you have the intention, if you ask those people, can you please do the dua for that specific brother for the betterment life, or maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower mercy upon that specific brother. If you have this kind of intention, and that is considered like you are doing the intention for the betterment of specific brother or specific sister, so at this situation is allowed. Apart from that, if you play the jokes, for example, rather than that, and you don't have any intention of the betterment, you have intention, to just to time pass, or maybe you can say that to play the jokes, or to play the puns, or maybe gags, if you want to do some sort of a gossip and all this kind of thing, and that is considered as a backbiting. If you have this kind of intention, then that is considered as a backbiting. Rather than that, if you are looking for the betterment of that specific brother, or if you have the intention to to do the dua and all these things, then this is not considered as a backbiting, and it is permissible in the Sharia. So that's the one thing we discuss about. Second thing is that backbiting is allowed. You know, um, let's say for example, if you say that when you say backbiting, it is only applicable to the Muslims. For example, assume that you have a brother, he is a non-Muslim. Okay, if you do the backbiting of non-Muslim in that situation, it is not a sin. You can do the. I mean, why? Because the backbiting, when you talk about, it is only Islamic Sharia rule. So this is only applicable to the Muslims. So if you do the backbiting of non-Muslims, so that's not considered as a sin. And the third thing is that the one who commits sin publicly. For example, isn't that one of the hadiths in the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned, the one who removes the veil of the shame, it will not consider as a backbiting. So as you see that there are a lot of brothers, okay, So what they do the sins very publicly. So if they remove the veil of shame, in then what happened? You can, if you do the backbiting of that specific person, then it is not sinful act. Okay. For example, I'll give an example to you. If you see in society, a lot of brothers, they do they drink the alcohol, and even they do the publicly. Even they, they go to the bars, they go to the nightclubs, and they consume a lot of alcohol. Even if someone stop to the brother, if they say that, why you're drinking alcohol, this is sinful act, they say, oh, I don't bother, and all these things. So this is also considered as a, if he, because he himself, even the publicly, he is doing the sinful acts. Okay. So if you do the backbiting of that specific person in front of other people, if you say to them, oh, that brother, he drinks all the time, he has got a bad habits, if you disclose all this type of information, this is not a sinful act. Okay. Similarly, if we talk about philanderer. Philanderer means, like, the people who enter into the, casual sexual relationship with unlawful women, or this kind of personality. If you see that, if you do the backbiting, this is also not sinful. Similarly, a lot of people, they spend a lot of time in the nightclubs, and as well as the bars, high-end bars, and even the dive bars. Even they look the, the dating sites and hookup sites, all the internet. If they have this kind of habits, and if they do openly, publicly, then in that situation, if you do the backbiting of those people, it is not considered as a sin. And the third thing is that, if you see this, there are there are a few people, like, for example, if you see this one, gambling is also one of the bad act. A lot of brothers, who earn money with, they work very hard, they earn the money. Ultimately, what they do, they spend the money in the way of the gambling. Okay. The main intention of them is, okay, if I play the gambling today, with help of, maybe by accident or by luck, I can get my wishes will be fulfilled. I'll get a lot of money with the help of that one. I can buy a house or something. They plan a lot of things, but unfortunately, after they're playing all these things, gambling, acts for a long time, they won't get any money. Rather, they'll lose a lot of money. So all these things, that this is also, gambling is also considered as a big sin. And this is also, if they openly they do it, then you can, if you do the backbiting of those kind of people, that is also allowed. So, and when you talk about gambling, that it is one of the bad thing which Islam is prohibits. The reason behind it is that you are going to lose your wealth. Okay. And it is one, that's the reason it's become harmful act. And after that, what happened, when you play the gambling with other people, the enmity and as well as the hatredness will increase among the others. For example, you have a best friend. Okay. And if you play the gambling with the other person, and if you lose the money, he become your enemy, and he will say that, oh, you see, I lost my money because of you. So this, internally, what happened in the hearts, you get the enmity, and as well as the hatredness will increase. Ultimately, what happened, your friendship will break. So this kind of thing, so gambling is one of the big cause. If you see in our society, a lot of people, a lot of families, they come across this kind of situation. And other thing is that you are spending a lot of time in the bad things, and it means that you are away from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are not going to get those blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather than that, if you spend that same time in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, maybe doing some good acts, just think about it. What kind of barakah, what kind of rahmah, what kind of blessings you are going to get in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the one thing which you have to look into that one. And there are some other thing is that seeking advice from you. For example, assume that, in a society where we live, let's say if the parents wants to do the marriage of maybe their son or their daughter, so what they do, they approach you. Let's say, for example, if they approach you for specific bridegroom, or maybe, let's say, specific bride, then if you know that that specific bridegroom or maybe bride, or has got some bad qualities. Okay. So it is compulsory upon you to disclose that information. Otherwise, I mean, it is not considered here as a backbiting. Okay. Because you're saving the life of someone. So if I come to you, if I ask you, so can you disclose, because, for a specific reason, if you can tell me about so and so brother qualities, or how exactly he behaves. Okay. And all these things. And you can ask you can ask opposite person, what is the intention yours, why you're asking. So if someone says that, oh, I want to give my child, I want to give my, you can say that my daughter, I want to do the nikah or something like that. Or maybe I have a son, I want to do the nikah with a specific bride. or something, in that situation you can disclose the information. That is not considered as a backbiting. Okay, so if someone asks for any advice, you should give the advice properly. And this is rather than that, if the opposite person, let's say if the person is drunkard, or maybe he's adultery, he do a lot of other bad things, if he's a killer, you should disclose this kind of information to the in front of other people, because this is going to save the life of others. So this is very important thing. And the third and the other thing is that next thing is that loss of the people. Let's say, for example, that in a society where we live, we have a lot of business people, and what they do, they do when they start the business, what happened, they initially, they put a lot of good offers. Okay, and when they deceive, let's say with the help of sweet words, they try to deceive the people, they try to cheat the people, they do the lies in front of the people. Okay, so let's assume that if you come across any situation like this, if you come across anything with a businessman who deceive, who lies, and who do the deception to the other people, and if you do the business with this kind of acts, and if you come across this kind of experience, then you try to, first of all, try to tell that business people, businessman, your attitude is not good, the way which you adopted is not at all good, all these things you should tell. Okay, then let's say, even if the guy, if he doesn't listen, if he don't care, then it is your duty to inform to the authorities. Okay, to inform in the place where we're living, we have a lot of institutions, where we can put a complaint against the company. All these things is very good. And as well as, if we talk about other people, so your friends or maybe your neighbors, you can tell them, oh, so and so person is a cheater, don't go to that space, don't approach him, don't do the business with him. So you can tell this kind of thing. So this is not considered as a backbiting. I mean, it is not is a sinful act. You can disclose the information, because he is doing he's cheating, he is creating the problems to the people. So in that situation, you can disclose it. Similarly, the other next thing is that you can do the backbiting in front of the judge. For example, in the when you approach the judge or police, or imam or mufti for a specific reason, or if you approach the mufti, you have some problem, maybe your wife and husband has got some problem, then you approach the mufti and maybe imam sahib. Then in front of the imam sahib, you can say, maybe wife can say to the imam that, my husband has got these bad qualities. Okay, I need some solution for this. Similarly, the husband can give you the information of the bad quality, bad attitudes of the woman to the in front of the woman, so that the imam can listen and can give you the right direction, maybe can give you the right guidance, and can give you the right answer. Okay, so in the situation, you can do the backbiting. It is not considered as a sinful act. And the other thing is that, I'll just quote one of the hadiths in front of you before going this one. For example, if you see, when you talk about the backbiting, in the one of the hadiths, which Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in front of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, a woman came. She approached the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the court of Allah Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and once she approached, she said, "Ya Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, my husband is a miser and as well as a stingy. Okay, he won't give enough money to do the basic, maintenance of my kids. Okay, can I take some of the money from his pocket without his knowledge?" Okay, so the Prophet ﷺ replied, yes, you can take it out of as per the requirement to fulfill the basic needs. Okay, so if you see in this hadith, the woman approached and complained to the Prophet ﷺ. She said that my husband is a miser and as well as a stingy. So if you talk about these two words, these are the bad qualities which the men possess. Okay, if 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 she say these two words in front of the others, that is sinful act. That is considered as a backbiting. But the same words, if she disclose, or if she complained in front of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or maybe in front of the Mufti, or maybe in front of Imam Sahib, then it is not considered as a backbiting, because you approach to the Imam for a specific problem, or maybe it's for the solution. Okay, so in that situation, you can do I mean, it is not considered as a backbiting. But if you utter these two words, my husband is stingy and as well as miser, if you say these same words in front of maybe your sister, or maybe let's say your neighbor or your relative, then this is considered as a backbiting. Why? Because there is no point. Why did you utter these words in front of the other people? There is no need for that. But you utter, if you utter the same words in front of the imam sahib or other people, because you need to get some guidance, then that's fine. So you need to look this kind of context. Without this one, if you whenever you utter any words with your tongue, it is very important. Each and everything is recording here. Okay, so even your actions are recorded, the way you talk is recorded, everything is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has arranged. It is, everything is recorded. So whatever the actions you do, you have to be very careful what I'm uttering, or whom in front of the whom which person I'm disclosing the information. This is very, very important to you. Now come to the point of one thing is that, if you talk about the, okay, so I think just give me one. Allama Sahab has not yet come. Okay. Okay, inshallah ta'ala, Allama Sahab will come so soon. I'm going to give one of the incident. Then after that, inshallah ta'ala, I'll finish this talk. I'll give one example to you. If you talk about the families, okay, or whenever the doctors, when they approach then their parents, they started to do the backbiting about their husband. Let's say, for example, the sister, let's say one of the sister, when she approached her parents, she started to do the backbiting of her husband, or maybe, my mother-in-law is like this, my father-in-law is like this, all these things, bad qualities they try to put in front of the mothers. Okay, if the intention is that, or maybe let's say, for example, if you are getting some problems, your mother-in-law or maybe father-in-law, and you convey this message to your father and mother, the intention is that your father and mother will try to give some guidance, or maybe try to bridge it between and try to resolve the problem. If the intention is good, if the intention is like this, then it is fine. But if you have the intention, I want, so that, if once you disclose the information, your mother and parents also in the return, if they try to say to you, oh, is it like that? Okay, I know that. Even if they start the backbiting and without any reason, this is a sinful act. So whenever you do any act, we have to be very, very careful. One of the incident, Hazrat Khaja Hassan Basri radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was one of the saint as well as a awliya. Few people actually came to him and said, oh my sheikh, so and so people are doing the backbiting about you. Okay, they talk about bad things about you. Then Khaja Hassan Basri radiallahu ta'ala anhu, what he did, he took one sort of a basket, and he put a lot of you can say dates and everything, and he's with the help of his student, he sent that bucket, or you can say bouquet or something to that, the people who did the backbiting. Then the once, and he has written a letter also. I come to know that you have done you transfer some of the good deeds of yours into my pocket. I'm very happy, and as well as, is a very helpful act. So in the return, I'm sending the dates, so please accept it. So this kind of action, if you see here, so if you do the backbiting, what happens? Ultimately you are going to transfer all of your good deeds into the other person's accounts. So now the question is that, first of all, we don't do the good acts. Okay, even though if you do the good acts, the question is that we are not going to the whatever the good act, after doing the good acts, whatever the reward we get it, we don't keep it. What we do, we do the backbiting, and with the help of that, we all the rewards whatever we receive, we are going to transfer into the other accounts. Okay, so inshallah, I think Allama Sahab already joined. I think, let me have a look. Okay. Um, Allama Sahab hasn't come yet. So okay. So anyway, so I'm going to conclude this information. That's the reason Allah Subhanahu wa Taala mentioned that Hal jazaul ihsani illa al ihsan. The reward of good cannot be anything but good. So that means whenever if you do any help to you, so in the return you should help in a good manner. Okay. So this is the lessons which we have learned today. And one of the hadiths about last thing about the Durud Salam. According to the Sheikh Mujaddin Faizuddin, one of the hadiths in basically he said mentioned that whenever you recite the Durud upon Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you can say Bismillah Rahman Rahim wa Sallallahu Ala Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is going to designate an angel that will keep you from backbiting. That means if when you keep on reading Durud Salam, your mind, everything will be divert to in the court of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So when you're reading Durud Salam, automatically your heart is going to clean all the time. Then a time will come, even though if you want to do the backbiting, your heart won't let you to do it. So these kind of blessings you will get it when you read the Durud Salam. So today is the Friday, Alhamdulillah. So I request, I think we have to read Durud Salam. If you keep on reading Durud Salam every day, or especially on Friday, automatically your heart is going to clean, and you will not be habitual to the all these bad things like a backbiting and slander and all these things. Okay. inshallah ta'ala. And Allama subhanahu wa ta'ala is, I think Allama Sahab is going to join soon. I'm going to disconnect this session. I think Allama Sahab will join soon and he will continue into the next thing. Allama Sahab will do the dua also. Alaikum assalam.